Hello everyone, Jinx OJ here, and today we're going to be predicting the Tekken 8 character roster. The Tekken franchise is in a very unusual place right now, given that it's on its 8th main entry, not including spin-off games like Tag and Death by Degrees. And as you all know, as years go on, characters get cut and replaced and new ones come in, and the Tekken franchise is infamous for cutting beloved characters. And it's a big deal. When you've been playing as these characters for many years, you get very attached. And when someone doesn't come back, it can be a big shock. My favorite character got cut and did not make it into Tekken 7. I'm okay. Thank you for asking. I've moved on to another character. So this is how we have it broken down to. We have a 100% chance someone's going to be in for that category, and then we have a high percent chance where they're more than likely going to be in the game in some capacity. And then we have the 50-50% chance category with maybe. Then we have a low category for odds are not in that character's favor. Then we have a not a chance in hell category with 0. Then we also have a category for DLC. Tekken 7 has been doing the mostest with DLC, so without a doubt, Tekken 8 is going to have DLC as well. And there are a few factors that I'm putting into this list. I'm going to be looking at character usage. I'm going to be looking at just what the characters are in the Tekken lore and world and, who's a legacy character. I'm also going to be looking at just characters' popularity in general. And I'm also going to factor in the latest anime on Netflix because I do feel like some of those characters and story arcs were very specific. And I thought it was a very interesting choice. They decided to start the storyline at Tekken 3. Instead of maybe Tekken 1 or 2. I think that was a very, very purposeful choice. And I think they want to keep some of these storylines and characters fresh in our minds so when we get to Tekken 8, they're there. All right, without further ado, let's get to it. So, we had one trailer for this game thus far, and that revealed Kazuya, and it revealed Jin. So without a question, they're in the game. They've been confirmed already. And by proxy, we can already assume Devil Jin's going to be in the game. This is what the storyline of Tekken's been about. It's been about the Devil Jin, so you know that's not going anywhere. With that being said, some of these characters are just not coming back, like guest characters like Negan, Akuma, Noctis, they're one and dones. They were just fun for their one game. Not coming back. Kind of like how Link was in Soul Calibur. That was just a one and done guest character. And some of these joke characters aren't making it back either. The reason why I say some of these joke characters aren't making it back is because I feel there are so many characters and so many popular fandoms and it's hard to please everybody that they're just really spreading themselves thin and they really have to come correct with who they choose to be in the game and who not to. So they can't afford to just put in Dr. Bospanovich as a character and assume someone's going to love that. People are going to love that. No, it's just there's too many characters now and they can't play games. I also don't think the kangaroos are going to be back either just due to the fact that I think it had something to do with an endangered species or animal cruelty or something to that effect. But it's weird because I don't think it affected the bears. I think the bears are going to be back in the Tekken game. I think those bears are here to stay. Those bears, I don't think they have much player usage, but they are here to stay. I think I don't know what the difference is between the kangaroos and the bears, but I think something about the game can't sell in certain countries because of the kangaroos, and beating up kangaroos is an issue. But I think the bears are fine. So the bears are staying, kangaroos, not a chance. Next up, let's get some of these obvious characters out the way. Paul Phoenix is going to be in the game. Legacy character, been in every single Tekken game, has one of the highest character usages too, without a doubt. Nina is the leading lady of Tekken. I think her character usage fluctuates at best, or she's low, but it's Nina. She's been in every single Tekken game. They're not cutting her. Who else is one of those legacy characters that's pretty much been in everything? Jax, I don't know if Jax has been in every single game, if not almost every single game. So I'm going to put Jax high up in there too. I think Jax may have not been in Tekken 4. Someone in the comment section let me know. With that being said, Yoshimitsu, 100% chance. Same with King. These are like the main faces of Tekken that have to be in the game. I'm gonna put Law in there too. Law is definitely up there. Those are the ones that are just without a question going to be in the game because they've been in like damn near every single entry up until this point. You know, high character usage or not, these are the main players in Tekken. So let's get into this though. I think this list is going to be trickier the further along we get into it. Heihachi has been in every single game like these legacy characters. However, I think they wrapped up Heihachi's story, so I think he'd be a great fit for DLC. So that way he's not in the main game. You can kind of put that story to bed, but it's a great cash grab. And you could also say he's been in every single game up to that point. Same thing with Kazumi. I think Kazumi would fit really well in the DLC category. You can also put them together and just say the Mishima bundle. Ooh, that just sells money. You know, they want to. I think Kazumi's actually a very popular character, especially out of the ladies too. I was looking at the character usages, and I definitely want to put the men and women in two different categories because I do feel that typically the character usage skews more male. So, but I do think it's important the ladies have their own category so we can kind of rank them, see how they rank individually too. And that's very important as well. Let's get to this list though, because this is looking very interesting. We have to talk about Jun Kazama. I am going to put Jun Kazama right up here. I think she is going to be in this game. I bet money on it. I think we're at a point in the Tekken storyline where is Jun? Especially with focusing on Kazuya and Jin. Her coming into the mix could really change up the dynamic of the storyline for the better. I really hope the Tekken storyline really utilizes her, especially right now with that Tekken anime on Netflix fresh in our minds, and it focused very heavily on Jun. I really feel like this is her time to shine and come back. I think she's a beloved character, and she hasn't been in a main entry since Tekken 2. Like, where has Jun been? We gotta know. And with that being said, on the conversation of Jun, while I think she's going to be in this game, I think a lot of us in the Tekken community think she's going to be in this game. We really, really got to figure out what, if Unknown is going to be in the game based off of that. I'm going to put her in the maybe category. So this is where it gets very tricky. So Unknown is in the Tekken tag games, and she's not canon, technically. However, some of the elements in the Tekken tag games have been canonized. So it really comes down to the story they're trying to tell. And if Jun comes back, do they want her to be in Unknown up until this point? Or do they want to do something completely else? So it can really go either way. Personally, I really love the Jun Unknown storyline, and I really hope they make that a thing. But it really just depends on the narrative they're trying to tell. And I personally feel that if we're going to talk about Unknown and Jun, Ogre is going to be elevated to the maybe category. I would normally not put bosses in there, but if we're telling Jun's storyline, I think Ogre has to make a cameo of some sort to kind of fill in the blanks. And I think out of all the boss characters, I think like Ogre is up there in popularity, like with Devil from Tekken 2. Like, they're just iconic characters, a very interesting character design, also freshly in our minds from the Tekken anime on Netflix as well. I think Ogre's got a very interesting shot of being in, especially if we touch on Jun's storyline, very much so. So moving on, Asuka and Lily, they are just beloved in the Tekken franchise. People cosplay as them. They have pretty good player usage as well. And they're also just a nice way to step away from the seriousness of Tekken, and they're very fun. And I also think Asuka's a character that has a bit of wasted potential. Like, I thought she'd be a bit more important in the story. Especially if Jun comes back, I could see her being back into having more prominent role in the storyline as well. So I very much believe Asuka and Lily are here to stay. Ever since their inceptions, they've just been popular characters straight out of the gates. And I think Asuka had a very good run character usage-wise in Tekken 7. I think she maybe fell down a little bit, but, you know, you cannot deny how beloved some of these characters are and their fandoms behind them. So some of these characters clearly aren't coming back. Like, I think this was Xiao Yu's friend from Tekken 4. I don't think she's coming back. Like, some of these characters are not. I think this guy died. I forgot his name, but I think he was in a few of the earlier Tekkens. I think he stuck around for a while, but I think he died. Slim Bob not coming back. Beck not coming back. They just gave up on... I don't think Michelle's coming back. I'm going to put Michelle in the low category. I don't think Michelle's coming back, but she's my OG favorite Tekken character. I'm going to always hold out a little hope for Michelle. I love her. She was one of the first characters I ever played as. I think the first game I played was Tekken 2. And I just remember her in the Tekken anime where she threw this hatchet at Heihachi and he just broke it with his teeth. I love her. I think she's a fun character, but I think Julia's definitely taken over her role. I think Julia actually has a high chance of being in there. And also, if they want to canonize her luchador-like appearance, too, I think Julia has a high chance because, one, she was a DLC character last go-round in Tekken 7, and I don't think they're going to make her DLC again. With that being said, she's also a Native American character. It also helped to have a bit of diversity because, you know, in a fighting game, people just want options to, you know, as a character to fit their identity or what their play style is or just, you know, something they resonate with. And that can take many different forms, from the way the character looks, the way the character plays, they're fast to slow. Some people just like to play as girl characters. Some people like to play as guy characters. Some people, you know, whatever strikes their fancy. It's always good to kind of have a well-rounded roster. And given the fact she was DLC last go-round, I think she has a higher chance of not being DLC again. That'd be really weird to have her DLC twice in a row for 2 games back-to-back. So I think she has a high chance of being in. I really, you know, Julia's a very interesting character because she's also been in the Tekken anime as well. So odds are in her favor. Very much more so than Michelle's. So let's talk about a very controversial character, Lucky Chloe. My goodness, either you love Lucky Chloe or you hate Lucky Chloe. There's really not a middle ground on this character. Some people just despise her, like, for many reasons, whether it's her character ending, the way she was handled with Eddie, that she's like this white girl that pretty much, some people say she's a white girl that really much like appropriates the Japanese culture and aesthetic. Her cheap-ass moveset, I've heard people say. All kinds of things. Then there's also the fact that a lot of people love her too. She's a very divisive character. I think she'd be great for DLC. If she really has the fans, I think they will pay money to get her as a cash grab. However, given she is so controversial, I do think people would roll their eyes if she made it into the main roster. So I think the best place will be to put her in there as DLC. Maybe a pre-order bonus. There you go. Best of both worlds. Okay, let's see who's next on this roster. I know we were talking about Eddie, so I don't know how Eddie's character usage is. I don't think it's really high anymore, but it's Eddie Gordo. He's like the most iconic capoeira character in all fighting games. You have to bring Eddie back. Plus, him and Lee are sexy. Mwah! Chef kiss to them beautiful men. But in all seriousness, though, Lee, Lars, and Eliza, these 3 characters are like very much interconnected in the storyline as well. Plus, I think all 3 of them have some pretty good character usage. So I see this trio coming back again. They've been a bit of a trio since Tekken 6. So I feel there's more to tell, especially considering the fact these are like the 2 the outside Mishima-like characters compared to like Kazuya and Jin and Heihachi. Like, these are the other ones. And they're pretty important in the storyline too. So I think they're going to be in the game. I'm pretty confident. And Violet by proxy is the same thing as Lee. So there you go. Let's talk about Angel. Angel is a very interesting character because I think that the franchise in Tekken doesn't really know what to do with her character. I think she's very important to the lore of Tekken, but I think she's very much like Rose from Street Fighter. They seem very important in the lore and in the story, but I don't think the franchise really knows what to do with these ladies. I think that there's so much of a story to tell with both Rose and Angel in their respective games, but they just kind of just were not making much of an impact in the storyline, and they feel like wasted potential. So I'm going to say she has a low chance of being in the game. I really hope she's in, but I heard she had low character usage in Tekken Tag 2, which is the last time she appeared, and her last canonical appearance was Tekken 2, so I don't see Angel coming back. I love her design and concept and hope to see more, but I just don't see it happening, guys. Next up, let's talk about my favorite character. So my favorite character is Christy Monteiro. Yes. However, we have a very similar character to her, which is Katarina. So this is wild. I have a theory we need to discuss right here. I really think that Katarina, her character design, was initially intended for Christy. And I think that Christy was meant to come back for Tekken 7. And when they were designing her character, they just gave her a new moveset. And eventually they just evolved her to Katarina as a completely different character altogether. I remember when I first saw Katarina, I thought it was Christy. And I was very surprised when it wasn't. I mean, they look very similar. They could be twins. They're both from Brazil. They both have this very reddish-brown hair. They both have a moveset that emphasizes kicks. They both have like a very similar dress with like the crop tops and the pants. And I really wish they were still the same character. I wish they would have given Christy a new moveset that was Katarina's. I think that in the Tekken franchise, they sometimes give existing characters new movesets. And I think that would have really helped differentiate her from Eddie. I know a lot of people love Christy because she's been around since the PS2 days. However, I think there's some people that don't like her because they find her an accessory to Eddie Gordo and quite redundant, which is valid. She's my favorite character, though. So I think I'm going to be putting these two in the maybe category. The reason why I'm putting them in the maybe category is because I think Christy is more of a beloved character just because she's been around longer. However, I think Katarina has a moveset that's just very user-friendly, and she's got a lot of popularity based on the last game. And I really wish they were the same character. I don't think both of them will come back, but I think one of them will. I think one of these two ladies has a 100% chance of showing up, but I don't think both of them do. And it's going to be very interesting to see which one does. I would love for both of them to show up, but I think I'm putting them in maybe the 50-50 category because I think it's going to boil down to one. Oh, I miss Christy so much. Moving on, Leroy, 100%. There is no way that Leroy is not going to be in the next game because, one, he was in the anime. Two, he's got pretty good character usage, and they really shoehorned him into that anime because he was not in the Tekken 3 storyline at all. I think that, like, it really should have been Eddie in the storyline of that anime, but I think they wanted to kind of keep Leroy fresh in our minds on that, so expect to see Leroy back for Tekken 8. Next, let's see here. Sebastian, you're a joke character. You're going to go in there. You're not coming back as the main character, and neither are you, Jinpachi. I don't think Tiger's coming back. I don't even remember this robot from Tekken 4's name, but they're not coming back. Mokujin. I think Mokujin's going to be in the maybe category because I think what's special about Mokujin is that it's a fun character that doesn't take much effort for the creators. You just got to create a good character model for Mokujin, and then you just rotate through all the play styles. So there's really not a reason why Mokujin can't come back in every game. So I'm just going to say maybe. You know, there's really no reason why not. Let me fix my hair. It's kind of messing up a little bit. Next up is Armor King. Armor King is a very high usage character, has a good fan base, right up there with King. I'm going to say a very high chance. It would not surprise me if it's 100% chance he makes it into the game. But we'll see. I'm going to have it with high. I'm actually going to put him above Julia, to be honest. Next, I'm going to say Hwoarang is 100% going to be in the game. No doubt about it. Way too popular. Probably one of the most popular characters from Tekken 3, aside from like main ones like Jin. Speaking of Tekken 3 popular characters, Xiaoyu for sure. Both of them were very prominent in the Tekken anime, and expect to see them back. They're here to stay. They're here to stay. Next up, Kunimitsus I want to talk about. So the Kunimitsus are extremely popular for DLC characters, character usage-wise. For character usage, like there's some of the newer DLC characters, like they are at the top of the tier listing. Like they're high up, especially of the women characters. However, Do we see them being like a part of the main Tekken storyline for the next one? I'm not sure. I mean, I would like to say they're gonna come back, but I can't say 100%. I'm gonna say in the high chance category, but I don't know. I'm just reluctant to put them in the 100% category, but I would love to see them back. Oh my gosh, great character designs too. Who doesn't love them? Speaking of ninjas, I'm going to be putting Raven into the low category and Master Raven into the maybe category. The reason why I say this is because I feel there's a lot of appeal with the male Raven and how he's very much like Wesley Snipes in Blade. However, I do think that Master Raven, she has just edges him out by a little bit because I think she's technically the first black woman in Tekken, which that is, you want someone in the roster that is reflective of everyone. And unless you consider Christy as Afro-Brazilian, kind of like how Eddie's Afro-Brazilian, Master Raven would be the first black woman in Tekken. And I'm not really sure because Christy kind of changes a bit. Like in the first game she was introduced in, she looked just like Tyra Banks. And then as time went on, she kind of looked more, they kind of changed her up a little bit. She looks a little bit more like J-Lo now. And maybe she's just Latina, I'm not sure. But it is important to, reflect, darker skinned women in these fighting games too. And I think she has a very interesting character design. I think it actually beats male Raven's character design. And I don't think the Ravens, though, have high usage, though. I think that is the only reason why they're so low on this list. But I think they're kind of iconic visually, though. So it could really go either way. Speaking of iconic characters, I think Anna's going to be in. The reason why I'm putting Anna in the 100% category is because the last go-round she was DLC. And I feel that she's not going to be DLC twice. Anna's been in almost every single game besides Tekken 4. And I think that was the game her and I think Jax got cut from. And kind of broke their streak. So she's kind of like a main face in the Tekken rotation. And I just don't see her being DLC twice in a row. I think she just has to be in the next game. Plus, I think she has a very similar moveset to Nina Williams. So it'd be very easy to replicate her character if I'm not mistaken. Moving on, I'm going to say Josie Rizal. I'm going to say very high, very high. The reason why I'm going to say very high is because I would almost put her in the 100% category too. The reason I say that, I'm I'm gonna put her in the 100% category. Let's do it. Reason being, she has very high character usage. She's on par with like Asuka and Lily. Then on top of that, she's like the first Filipino character in the roster. And I think they also have to kind of balance out the rosters with the men and women too. So I think she has a good chance of really being in the next game. I think she's one of the characters from this newer entry that can stick. And yeah, she'll be back. If she's not back, she's definitely going to be DLC. Count on that. She could even be in the DLC category. She's going to be in one of those things, but best believe. Another popular character that got introduced at the same time as Lily was Dragunov, and, you know, he's got a very high usage rate. I'm surprised how much his popularity is. Speaking of high popularity, Brian surprised me on how many people adore Brian and main Brian and just do not sleep on that Brian's fandom. Brian has a huge fandom. He's 100% in. Ever since he's been in Tekken 3? I want to say he was introduced in Tekken 3. And I want to say he's been in every entry since. So yeah, he's here to stay. Leo. I don't think Leo has a lot of high usage, so I'm going to put Leo in the low category. Sucks, because I do like how, like, androgynous or like non-binary Leo is, and unfortunately it just, I just don't think the character is popular enough to come back. I'm sure there are people out there. Let me know if you like Leo and you want them to come back. Are you any Leo mains out there? Gangrel, I don't see them coming back. I think they got low usage rate. The only thing they got going for them is they're a legacy character and I guess have a very unique moveset, but Devil, Kazuya, I'm going to say maybe. If you really want to go there, it depends on for the storyline and narrative purposes, maybe, but maybe. It's like the maybe characters are like very much on like what story they're trying to tell. And it could go either way, but it would really only really mainly be there for storyline purposes. I think Devil Kazuya is mainly kind of like merged with his devil self, while Jin kind of goes back and forth between his devil self. It's a whole thing. Y'all who play the game series know by now. Zafina, I do not think is coming back. I just don't think it's happening. I think the character's just not popular enough. And to be honest, I think they're quite useless in the storyline too, to be honest. Unfortunately, I hate to say it because I think they're kind of interesting. Just a lot of wasted potential. Very similar to like Angel and Rose. Like, there was something that could have been done there, but unfortunately, nothing was really... You could take her out of the story, and I'm not really sure much would change. Unfortunate. Gigas, I do not see coming back. Lydia, I think she might come back. I think she has a high chance. I think she's got a very high character usage. I think people like her. I think they really dig her. Steve, I very much see coming back for sure. I think that's one of the stars from Tekken 4 for sure. Marduk. He's been around for quite a few entries. I'll say high. Do I give him high? I'll give him... yeah, he's a high chance of coming back. We can do that. Grease? Maybe? Sure, I'll put you in the maybe category. I'm not really sure about that. I think he's one of those characters that fluctuates in character usage. Like, I think at one point in time he had good character usage. However, I'm not really sure about how his character usage is now, popularity-wise. Miguel? Let's put him in the high category. I could see him coming back. Yeah. Fakuham? Yeah, I could see him coming back. I think he's a very high usage character, very interesting character design. I think people want to see him coming back. Yeah, same with Claudio. I think Claudio, especially with I could see him coming back with the exorcism storyline. I think he was in the story they pretty much put a lot of emphasis on him, and I think in the tournament scene he's got a lot of potential, and people are really digging him. So I could totally see him coming back. And if these two don't come back in the main roster, you best believe they'll be in for DLC for sure. Fang is another character that has a lot of usage. Like, some of these characters I didn't think were that popular, but they have very high usage rates. Do not sleep on Fang players. People love their Fang. Bob. I don't know. I'm putting Bob in the maybe category. He could really go any way with that. Lei. We've got to talk about Lei. Lei is a legacy character. It's been around for a long time. Been a Jackie Chan-like character. People have asked for Lei, but Lei has such low usage. I don't really know where to put this character. I think that Lei is like Christy, where some of these characters are popular, but you can't not look at the popularity usage and their character usage too. I don't know. I'm gonna put maybe, because I have a soft spot for these characters that have been around for so many years. I mean, these characters, like, some of them are older than some of the players who actually play Tekken. So it's kind of bizarre when they don't come back. It's like it could really go either way. And he was a DLC character last time, so if he doesn't show up in the main roster, I just don't see him coming back. So this could really go any direction. Irving, I'm going to say low. I just don't see him coming back. Eliza, the vampire lady. She's definitely in the maybe category too. I don't think she has high usage, but what could push her to the high category is that she has such an interesting... She's an interesting addition to Tekken. She's a vampire, so you could really have her... She stands out very much in comparison to the rest of the characters, and I think the fantastical characters are quite popular, like the devils and the ninjas and the robots and, unknown and ogre. I think, you know, adding a vampire to the mix is a very interesting concept. So I'm going to be generous. I'm going to put her in the high category. I think she deserves a place up there. And then we have Shaheen. I'm going to look at the character usage because that's going to determine where this character falls. So where do they fall? They're above the halfway point. So, let's put them in the higher category. Let's just, I'll give you the high. I'm tempted to say maybe though. You're going to be on the lower end of the high category. Speaking of which, where does Miguel land on this? I'm curious because Miguel, did I pass it? I want to know because this really determines a lot. Miguel's pretty high up there too, past the halfway point. So yeah, these characters are placed where they belong. I need a lifeline on who this character is. I've been trying to figure out who this is for a minute now, and I'm just drawing a blank. So since I don't know, I'm putting him in the low category. But yeah, that is my predictions for the Tekken 8 character roster. Obviously, some of these people are no-brainers. Some of these characters are just grandfathered in. And some of these characters, you just cannot ignore their potential and just what they bring to the Tekken table. So yeah, that's my prediction. What character do you main and want to come back for Tekken 8? Let me know in the comment section below. And leave a like because you know I'm into that sort of thing. And if you're feeling good about this video, subscribe because I need the followers, y'all. All right, me Jinx, signing out.